Today on the PHNX Sun Devils show, no Eric Ruby, no Captain Redbeard. This thing might get off the rails. With me and Ralph, we'll see you in 30 seconds. Happy Tuesday and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show presented by Neutral. Keep it tasty, Tempe. And of course, we are here coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading that Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I am Anthony Totri, joined every once in a while by the man, the myth, the legend himself. We've got Ralph Amsden today on the PHNX Sun Devil show. We've got the Deli Man behind the Mac, not Captain Redbeard. Deli Man, say hi to everybody.
Hello, chat.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Guys, do us a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. A jam-packed show for everybody today. We're going to be talking about Sam Leavitt going up against that Cyclone defense, one of the best secondaries in the Big 12. Obviously, can Sam Leavitt outgun Rocco Becht on the other side for Iowa State? We've got some sound from Sam Leavitt as well. But, Ralph, this is the first time that we've had you on the show since Arizona State made the Big 12 championship game a year ago. You were calling in. I was in the studio. We were doing post-game shows. We were going early before games that even wrapped up. I think every segment or every few minutes, you were pulling up a motivational quote to help Arizona State fans get through what that season was. And here we are, Ralph. We are less than a week away from the Sun Devils playing for a Big 12 championship.
That is true. The last time that I was seated across from you on one of these streams, we had people pantomiming illicit activities in the background, and I thought you were going to fight them all.
Yeah.
And it would have been really cool to see you knock a few people out on Mill. That would have been nice, but this is nice too.
Yeah, this is good. I think Arizona State fans, I don't know if it's sunk in yet, right? And I don't know if it's going to until you see them at that stadium, see those guys on the field, see the Big 12 logo, and truly understand that you're a win away from being a college football playoff team after a 3-9 season, after everything that was the last couple of seasons with Herm and all of it. It's just absolutely wild to see. And funny enough, before we get into just football, had this discussion with some media members over at practice today. And you've covered Arizona State for a while now. Just in terms of, when was the last time do you think that Arizona State athletics has been this good, top to bottom? Because football is playing for a championship. Basketball is 7-1, better than the Arizona Wildcats, by the way. I didn't know if some people in the chat, Big 12 fans, didn't know that.
Do they suck?
Yeah, they're not very good. Hockey is ranked. Volleyball just won the conference. There is so much going so well for Arizona State.
Yeah, in my head, it's always been this good. We just haven't done it.
Yeah.
Right? It's, you seem like somebody who probably always fulfilled your potential in school. I was one of the people who got the calls home about unfulfilled potential. And so I'm like, if I'm getting calls from my teacher that I would be getting A's if I applied myself, then they know.
Yeah.
They know, so why do I have to apply myself? But every once in a while, you gotta pop out and show people. So that's what we're doing in 2024.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. And we were talking about this, I think probably week 4, week 5. Eric and I were throwing around this team. They were 3-1, 4-1. The schedule looked maybe a little bit more favorable at that point. And it was okay, we could see his team maybe winning 8-9 games. And I remember I had gone into Shane's office and it was Eric at the time had said college football playoff. And this team's 4-1. And Shane was just shaking his head in disbelief, right? Which is the logical thing to do. This team had played not really anybody. They played Wyoming, Mississippi State. Everyone want to say, oh, it's an SEC team, whatever. You beat Texas State, you lose to Texas Tech. And it's like, okay, yeah, they've had a strong start, solid team, definitely going to go bowling. But the way that this team has just functioned over the last month and change has been remarkable. And really at the helm of it all, outside of Kenny Dillingham and Cam Skattebo, has been their quarterback, Sam Leavitt, who at the start of spring ball, we weren't even sure if he was going to be the starting quarterback.
I didn't want him to be. I was like lobbying as much as I could because, I'm always been a Trenton Bourget believer. P.S. His passer rating this year off the charts. But I wanted to go with what I knew. I'm kind of a little bit of a doubting Thomas, right? I have to see it, and you have to give props to Kenny Dillingham because this was a bet. It was not a guarantee.
Yeah,
he wagered on Sam Leavitt, and I heard him talking about this elsewhere. He said, this is somebody with an alpha personality who was maybe displaying that personality prior to it being appropriate.
Yeah.
We had to put him in a situation where he could prove it so that, he could get in Cam Skattebo's face at the end of a game and not have it be, not have him be dismissed as the young one or the new guy. And so you really have to give props to this coaching staff. I'm a longtime follower of Marcus Arroyo. I wasn't 100% sure what it was going to look like with him running the show. And he has really impressed me. He earned that 3-year contract extension. Sam Leavitt has earned the respect of his teammates. As you would say, the vibes are at an all-time high, and he's an enormous part of that. And I'll say what I said off air. I was not excited to have a Cobra Kai villain as our starting quarterback. And then I actually watched Cobra Kai and I realized, no, that's exactly what you want. So I could not be more fired up going into the Big 12 championship with him as the Sun Devils leader.
Yeah, it's been weird to see because I've covered freshman quarterbacks and younger quarterbacks before. And usually there are moments where it is, even specifically at Arizona State, I feel like you can point to whether it be a Jayden Daniels, what was the other one? Manny Wilkins. Like even in some of their younger moments at Arizona State, you could point to it and be like, oh, well, that's maybe just the lights were like a little too bright at that moment. And usually they, whether it be games, years, whatever, eventually get to the point where they can settle in. And I feel like at other times it's been more of a team issue, right? Where it's like, okay, the quarterback has finally stepped up, but the team itself maybe isn't reaching its potential like we talked about earlier. But this feels like a team right now that is, I don't want to say necessarily a team of destiny, but everything at this point feels like it's going in their direction outside of Jordyn Tyson going down out indefinitely per Kenny Dillingham. I would not expect to see Jordyn Tyson for the remainder of the season, maybe even early into spring ball. But Arizona State is in need of somebody to step up.
Hold on. We live in an era where it's become more acceptable to question Western medicine. Do you need a collarbone? Like, how important is it to football? You have shoulder pads, right?
You do. And I mean, he's made some crazy plays before. I don't even think it's necessarily an issue of if he could catch the ball. I think it's more of like, is there a guarantee that you could slide before taking a ridiculous hit to that shoulder again?
Well, and I mean, Trevor Lawrence just showed us that sometimes sliding doesn't matter.
Depends who you play, I guess.
Yeah,
Depends who you play. But yeah, Arizona State certainly has been marvelous this season on offense. Like you said, got to give credit to Marcus Arroyo and Kenny Dillingham and a lot of the other position coaches, right? Like a Hines Ward, a Sean Aguano. I think Sean Aguano, for some reason, continues to be overlooked every single season.
The man.
It's wild when you go look at the long laundry list of running backs that Arizona State has had over the last half decade and how well they have performed specifically at ASU.
I mean, look at what he did before he got to Arizona State. All he does, right, is make everything around him better, make everything around him a more family-oriented environment. And I will say that, I'm not out here to give Herm Edwards undue praise, but bringing Sean Aguano on staff and treating him like someone who is not just a token Arizona high school recruiter, actually sending him to Hawaii, putting him in charge of different things, setting him up to take over when he quit. Those things I am actually super grateful for because he's a good man who's good at his job. He's come a long way since playing running back himself at the D3 level. And I'm a huge Sean Aguano believer. And it's really, really cool to have him part of this staff.
It really is. And again, you go back, Benjamin, Xavier Valade, Demario Richard, Kalen Balaj, running backs even before Sean Aguano was in Tempe as the running backs coach. Like Arizona State has had really, really good running backs, and they're going to need their really good running back, Cam Skattebo, on Saturday if they hope to beat an Iowa State defense, Ralph, that in all honesty, they are not good at stopping the run. They have been pretty solid all year in terms of defending the pass. From your estimation, do you feel like it is going to be that simple in terms of a game plan for Arizona State? Like just run it until they stop you?
I think you have to be who you are. I'm pretty sure that's what got you here.
Yeah.
Switching things up. So what I expect Arizona State to do is to go get a big lead, surrender that lead, give us all ulcers, and then win the game. That's what got us here. Let's just do that again. And with them being, I don't know if they're 16 out of 16 in the Big 12, but they are 99th against the run. And you look at the emergence of Kyson Brown and the way that Sam Leavitt earlier in the season was running the ball, and you realize, we do have the ability to attack this defense. It's a very talented coaching staff, and they find ways to win games. But all year long, I've watched a lot of Iowa State football, and they are a lot like BYU in that they've played with fire a bunch. They shouldn't have beaten Iowa. That was kind of Kirk Ferentz throwing up the surrender flag while winning. And so, they've kind of gotten away with it in a few spaces, whereas Arizona State didn't put together 4 great quarters of football after the Wyoming game until they played Arizona. Mm-hmm. Right. And so I think that Iowa State was playing to the maximum of their potential for a lot of this year. And defensively, again, they'll do what it takes, but they also play against a lot of teams who aren't, at least this year, weren't out to score a ton of points. They were also just trying to, do what you can to win, play some herm ball. So I'm not afraid of this defense. I am more worried about, is our offense excitable? Is 11 in the morning too early for an ASU student?
Yeah.
How is that sunshine in Jerry World? Because that's been a problem in the NFL this year. Though I'm worried about those things a lot more than I'm worried about Iowa State's defense.
I know Kenny said on Monday that the guys are planning on getting up, I think, about 5 in the morning just to prep for the time change and do all that. They're doing their walkthrough the day before as opposed to when they normally would do it the morning of, because they're used to having a little bit of a later kickoff. So things will definitely look a little bit different for Arizona State, both in terms of preparation for the game, but also on the field. Like we said earlier, no Jordyn Tyson for the Sun Devils. Will in the chat talking about Malik McClain. Yeah, Malik McClain, Ralph, not wearing a scout team jersey today. Back in action just in terms of getting reps. Would be interesting, to say the least, to have a guy like Malik McClain, after Kenny said that he was going to redshirt, to potentially play on Saturday against Iowa State. But not only Malik McClain, you've got Troy O'Meara, Melquan Stovall, Xavier Guillory. Is there anybody specifically that you think out of that stable of wide receivers needs to have a big game the most? Or is it just more so like whoever does it, we'll tip the cap to you?
That's a great question that I don't have an answer to, because going into the U of A game, we were having a real Calvin Johnson, Georgia Tech season with Jordyn Tyson getting 66% of the wide receiver receptions. There's not really a situation like that anywhere amongst the elite teams in college football, but we've started to see Xavier Guillory come on late. Melquan Stovall made a couple of good plays against Arizona. So to see that they didn't just forget football because they weren't necessarily included in what this offense was trying to do, it makes me feel a little bit more confident. I think if I'm not mistaken, Arizona State only has one game this year where they have passed more than they've run. And for a long time this year, it was like a 65-35 split. So as long as they can make the plays when they're called upon, that's all that matters to me. Was Jake Smith in uniform?
He was in uniform. He was. I
want to get him one score before he leaves.
He was doing all the same things that we've seen him do in practice, but we've still kind of yet to see him do it on the field on game day. Which again, if there is a guy that would be your storybook moment, it would be
in the state of Texas.
Smith. It would absolutely be
where his career started.
Guy.
Yeah,
it would be Jake Smith, 8 catches, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Right after his second touchdown, looks directly into the camera for ABC, pulls up his jersey, and it's just a Texas to Tempe just shirt. That's the storybook.
You know what I'm kind of mad is that Josh Rosen is the one who handed him his National Gatorade Player of the Year award.
That's crazy.
Because I was there at that ceremony, and I'm like, was Josh Rosen contagious? But he balled out. He balled out his first 2 years at Texas. He's still one of the best athletes I've ever covered in my life. His acceleration, his first step acceleration, can't be touched. It's just a matter we got to get him confident. And maybe there's a screen in there or something like that. Get him a touch. But there are a lot of good receivers on this team. It's just, you're bringing Sam Leavitt along. You've talked about Sam Leavitt as a rhythm guy.
Yeah.
Receivers are rhythm guys too.
Yeah, 100%.
Like everybody needs the opportunity to get involved. And the fact that Stovall and Guillory have made plays the last 2 weeks, that makes me feel a lot better.
Isn't it funny, not only how obviously this team has had a lot of things change at the start of the season, but one of the most surprising things is that this receiver room went from being, it's super deep, it's not top heavy at all, to it's top heavy and there's not a lot of depth.
Yeah.
And nothing's changed. The personnel hasn't changed. You lost one guy, but now you're starting to feel the effects of, I don't.
And it's not even so much that these guys can't do it. It's more so, like you said, 60-something% of the targets, right, have gone to one guy. So it's ridiculous at this point to be like, okay, well, we need Xavier Guillory to go for 5 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown to have a chance in this game. Not to say he can't. We just haven't seen him do it, right? And I think that's part of why Arizona State is here, because Jordyn Tyson, because Shimon Matire, because Cam Skattebo, because Sam Leavitt, when he needs to take off on a 3rd and 7 and lower his shoulder instead of slide, please, for the love of God, slide. That's what has gotten Arizona State to a Big 12 title. Now, the question is, when you need to make adjustments like you do this week without your top guy, can you get it done the way that Arizona State was able to do without Cam Skattebo? Or do you get a game where it was like, okay, can you make the adjustments without Sam Leavitt? And Arizona State wasn't able to do that with Jeff Sims at the helm. So this is, again, the 3rd time this season that Arizona State is going to be without one of their 3-headed monster weapons. They lost without Sam Leavitt. They won without Cam Skattebo. Now you're at a point where, did they get the job done without Jordyn Tyson? So I think a lot of that is going to fall on Sam Leavitt's shoulders. And we're going to talk all about Sam Leavitt going up against Iowa State quarterback Rocco Becht, one of, in my personal opinion, the best quarterbacks in this conference. But we are going to take a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to tell you about our friends. I want to tell you about our friends over at Branded Bills. Whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. Whether you have great hair, whether you have bed head, whether you just need to throw on a cap so you can go get a workout in, Branded Bills makes the best caps, and that's no cap. Okay, whether you're looking for gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd, Branded Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order, and their dedicated team is going to help you create the exact custom apparel you need. They also have partnerships with ASU, and like Eric says every single time that we have this lovely ad read, they also do charity work with the University of Arizona. It's a local company from Mesa, Arizona. Head to brandedbills.com and use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. Head to the locker. Get some of those sweet caps. I love it. I love it. Also, didn't love that you guys didn't like my no cap joke.
I liked it a lot.
Thank you.
I also like that he can read.
Yeah, I can.
He didn't memorize it all. I've heard people say things about Arizona State grads. I can read. You can read. That makes 2 of us. People in the chat can read.
They can. And if they're doing their reading correctly, behind us over that way, we're in Studio K, guys, presented by Circle K. I tell you every single day to sign up to become an Inner Circle member. It's Circle K's free membership program that's going to help you save money every single day, whether it be snacks, gas, anything under the sun. Super easy to download the app and sign up to become a member. Enter your email and phone number to be fully enrolled. After that, all you need is your phone number to start getting those deals. Deals like saving 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Enjoy your member-exclusive beverage deal. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 79 cents. Join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
Maybe he can't read.
Maybe I can't read.
I love Circle K. I love Circle K.
Do you?
Yes. Take your keys in with you and don't leave your car running.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Have you heard
case.
this story? Oh,
yeah.
Can we do a story time real quick?
Sure, if you want to.
Yeah, let's do a story time real quick. Circle K story time.
Okay, so love Circle K. Used to live in North Chandler. My favorite Circle K location was right there on the corner of Warner and Dobson, next to, Leavitt Market.
Okay.
And just great. Stopped in there every single night after my high school coverage. Went there on a Thursday after a late game that Sean Aguano was actually coaching for Chandler High back in 2016. And just went in to get, they had the 2 for $4. Cherry Coke and a Dr. Pepper. Love that. Love to get some hot tamales.
Okay.
They have everything you need. And I might have left my keys. And I might have been carjacked by somebody who was on a pretty big bender. And it became a whole thing. And there might have been a police chase. And there might have been helicopters. And that guy might have actually gotten out after 8 years of hanging out in Florence. And I want to say we like to add to our numbers. So if that guy is out and he's watching this, forks up.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do to make it up for me, all you have to do to make it up to me is become
a diehard.
Yeah, become a diehard, and we'll call it even.
Yeah, that's fair. Sharon in the chat actually with a phenomenal question saying, is there any way like she can donate a diehard Discord membership to someone today at the $36 deal? That deal
That's awesome.
is running out soon. What, to 8 p.m. tonight, right, Shane? That's when the diehard discount is over. We can definitely make that work, Sharon. If you want to pick somebody, by all means, that is totally up to you. And we can find a way to make that happen. Sign up. Go to gophnx.com today, or if you follow us on any of our socials, a lot of the links have been sent out. Just click that link and sign up to become a diehard for just $36. Again, this deal runs out tonight, Tuesday, December 3rd at 8 p.m. You're getting access to the diehard Discord. You're getting exclusive diehard only content. You are getting a free t-shirt or hat every single year. The membership pays for itself, guys. And trust me, if you don't take my word for it, we've got a ton of diehards in the chat. Just ask them and they will vouch for it as well. Ralph, we need to get you in the Discord.
I've jumped in there a couple of times to read some of Sharon's posts. I'm actually between diehard memberships.
Wow.
Right now.
Wow. Well, have you seen the deal that we have going on?
Well,
now?
I got that link. I got that hookup link.
There
I finally came to Saul and I was like, hey, could you hook your boy up? and he was like, yeah, we'll get you hooked up. And they sent me a link, and the link hasn't worked for me, but they told me it's on me. It's my IP address. So I'm going to click it from here, from the PHNX studio.
Okay.
We're going to make it happen today. I am going to get in there, and shout out to whoever's calling me out for the Trenton Bourget stuff. I've always been on.
You have always been a Bourget
Wednesday
guy.
night. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to show you my tattoo, my Bourget tattoo.
Your TV16 tattoo?
It's a family show, yes. But no,
That's diehard only content, Ralph.
Yeah. I love Trenton. I've always wanted him to be the quarterback. There were people who thought I was like on behalf of the family. Him. No, there was one guy who had thrown for 300 yards since 2019, and he had done it 5 times. And I thought, if given the support, he could help. But guess what? I've been wrong about things before. I'm going to be wrong about things again. Sam Leavitt's the man.
He is the man. And hey, if you need somebody to come in, throw a touchdown on one pass, Trent Bourget is your guy, right?
Put him at receiver. Jordyn Tyson's down.
I mean, there you go.
Trent Bourget, wide receiver 1. Let's go.
Goodness. Well, they already got a Bourget in the wide receiver room.
That's true.
So maybe we'll see.
Wide receiver 2, maybe.
They also have a Eusebio. So
they do have a
my
Eusebio.
Gosh, that kid's fast.
That kid is fast. Some of the younger guys, Zechariah Sample out there too. I'm interested to see just if we get to see any of those freshmen or redshirt freshmen really have an impact in this game. I do have a feeling that it is going to be a heavy dose of Cam Skattebo and Kyson Brown and Sam Leavitt, just in terms of design QB runs and all that stuff, and kind of lean on what has worked for Arizona State, and that's been the ground game. And then you get to 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, you just scheme Shimon Matire open, and then you start all over from 1st and 10. I was asked a question today by Jordan Ham, and I want to pose this to everybody. I know this show, we've gotten off the rails already. I promise that this has to do with football. It's for everybody in the room, okay? Arizona State, down 2 points.
Yes.
18 seconds left in the game. It is 4th and 2. You're on Iowa State's 30. You have no timeouts. Do you kick the field goal?
Yeah, you have to.
You kick the field goal.
I feel like you have to. I mean, I think though there's been struggles in the kicking game, and a lot of it's mental. So it's going to be in your head, and there's no bigger moment. I would assume the percentages have to be higher than a Hail Mary. I would assume, even if it's just slightly.
Eric's not happy with that question.
Why?
Again, I didn't make that question. I'm gonna put that out there.
Jordan Ham did this?
Jordan Ham did this to me. I showed up to practice. This is like the first thing he said to me after, "Hi, officer, how are you?" But it's a fair question. My only issue with it is if you go for it and get the first down, the clock stops so you could spike it. But at that point, let's say there's
how much time did you say was left?
18 seconds.
Why did he pick
I don't know why he chose 18 seconds.
I think he probably just watched Matt Eberflus get fired.
and tried to figure that one out.
In his head,
Okay.
yeah.
With 18 seconds, I'm confident this team can pick up 2 yards. I think
Do you risk that? You have more
Do you
faith.
have timeouts?
No. So you spike it, and then. But my only thing there is the leg has never been the issue for the kickers. It's been the accuracy. So yes, you could try and move it up 7, 8, 9 yards on a play or two, but the leg has never been the problem. It's been the accuracy of these guys.
I think you go wild scat.
On 4th and 2, and if you don't get it, what's your excuse?
Here it is, wild scat jump pass.
To who? Shaman?
No.
Sam?
No. To Eusebio. There you go.
To Eusebio?
Yep.
They're going to know something's up, though, if that kid's in the game.
Do we have 3 timeouts? Can we punt and trust the defense? Try to get a safety, go for the tie, play for overtime. Do it Georgia Tech style. We don't want to win. We just want to go to 8 overtime.
Kenny's going to look at Eric and be like, come here, Ruby. You got to kick.
God, this is terrible, and everyone's going to leave
horrible
here
question.
feeling bad.
It's a horrible question.
Good job, dude.
It's my bad. Like, I didn't do this. Blame Jordan Ham, okay? But I think it's an interesting question to see where Arizona State fans are at with less than 5 days now till you play in a championship game. Do you trust your kicker when a field goal wins you the Big 12 title?
Yeah.
Or do you kick?
I would kick, yeah. I mean, it's not a distance issue. 47 is not a distance issue. Parker Lewis can kick it a mile.
See,
right?
so you're going Parker Lewis. That was the other part of Ham's question afterwards.
If it's a matter of distance, but I've covered Parker Lewis since he was like 15. I've seen him miss a field goal from 60 yards by 60 yards that would have been good from 70. So like he's on, if you're playing Madden, like he can kick it forever, but that accuracy thing comes down quick. You gotta, and so that we saw him miss a 21 yarder would have been good from 51. But it really just depends. It is 4th and 2. If you can stop the clock or get a spike, you have Cam Skattebo, and maybe you have to go with what works. 18 seconds is giving them time after a.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I know that's not going to happen is Arizona State's not going to mismanage the time at the end of the game. They've never done that.
Maybe just a time or two. And Jordan was like, yeah, there isn't a situation where they'll burn a timeout early. Just because it's what Arizona State has done at this point in the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny was like, hey, Parker, when this is snapped, give it like a beat. Just wait, and we'll hold up and then kick it.
Do it on 3rd down. Line up in the field goal.
Yeah.
Snap it, and then just fall down. Yeah. And then line up to
give
do
it
all over again.
And kick it.
That would be tough.
Wow. Someone just shouted out my hometown. Of 16,000 people.
Who was it?
In northern Wyoming.
Where are we at?
Shout out David.
Wow. The David Rodish. Goodness gracious. David, our former intern.
Yeah. He sent me a picture of a lot of cheese danishes the other day. Now we're really off topic. Let's get back
on topic. You did it,
though.
You said...
Short Bus brings it up. Carter Brown's in the portal. See that?
I've got no comment on any of that. They need a kicker in the portal at some point. That needs to happen.
He's got a cool logo.
That's cool for him. That's, there are a lot of... Circle K's got a cool logo.
The Austin Nunez of football.
I'm going to be positive and just not, again, further comment on any of that. But look, there's a scenario where Arizona State doesn't have to decide to kick a field goal with 18 seconds left.
Yeah, well, you're at 49-7.
I would say those are all of the scenarios.
Those are the only scenarios?
No, those are all of the scenarios except for one.
Okay.
That they won't have to do that.
What's the other? Oh.
All of the other scenarios are they don't have to do that. There's only one scenario where they have to do that. That's the one you brought up, and I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, well,
it could happen with 17 seconds left.
Yeah.
Ralph,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Look, Sam Leavitt in this offense, I think, have the capability of, I'm not going to say carving up the Iowa State defense. I think that'll be more of Cam Skattebo's doing, but I think you're going to need Sam Leavitt to be as consistent as he has been over the last month and change, where he's been very, very careful with the football at times. He's taken his chances. The deep ball chemistry that he's had with some of the other wide receivers has definitely improved since camp, since the start of the season. But can this offense without Jordyn Tyson keep up with Rocco Becht with 2,000-yard receivers?
So I love that you brought up Rocco Becht, because Rocco Becht and Sam Leavitt kind of have like an inverse relationship, right? Like Kenny Dillingham gambled by making Sam Leavitt the starting quarterback, and Rocco Becht got his job because the person that was in front of him got caught gambling. So kind of like a little yin and yang.
They're the same.
There. Yeah,
They're
basically.
the same.
Shout out Rocco.
Shout out Rocco. I know. Shane was saying I need to show up in an Elmo costume at the stadium and just watch Rocco Becht while he's doing his warm-ups to scare him
is
a little
rock.
bit. Look, if you guys aren't familiar with what Rocco Becht and Sam Leavitt have done this season, we'll just take a look. Arizona State's starting quarterback has thrown for over 2,400 yards, 23 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, been completing about 62.7% of his passes with a quarterback rating of a $154.9.
Wow, he's been good.
He's been amazing.
Those stats.
For a redshirt freshman quarterback to have a touchdown interception ratio at 23.5 is wild. And Rocco Becht on the other side, 3,021 yards through the air, 20 touchdowns, 8 INTs, completing just under 60% of his passes at 59.2 and a quarterback rating of 138.1. He's been a really talented quarterback as well. I think the big difference between Leavitt and Becht is going into the season, I think people really did expect Becht to take that jump. And there were some people that didn't necessarily think that Sam Leavitt would be that guy or could be that guy, at least this soon. But when you see numbers like that, do you expect to see a little bit of a fireworks show between these two offenses, or is it going to be more of the same from Arizona State, where it's like, okay, we are just going to play keep away, we're going to run the football, we understand that Becht's on the other side of this thing, that they've got those 2,000-yard receivers, they've got an experienced offensive line, is that the game plan, just play time of possession?
I think that you have this Brian Ward defense. Do we know how Iowa State did against Kansas State?
What, 29?
That's kind of like final? A little bit of an indicator. We run the same defense, essentially. We run that North Dakota State defense. And so if you're looking to go back and watch a game and see how a defense, I would probably choose that Kansas State game. And I also believe he's a lot like Jake Retzlaff in that. Remember, Jake Retzlaff threw for 500 yards of his 270 yards he threw for. He got 500 in the second half. Yeah, he's kind of like that in when his back's against the wall on a big third down, he can make you a play. But he's not somebody who's going to go out and just throw for 375 because that's the design of the offense. We know it's not the design of the offense because we watched Brock Purdy there for 4 years put up numbers pretty similar to this. And so the way that Arizona State got home against Noah Fafita in Arizona, it was a real kind of a big departure because they've really played disciplined defense. One good pass rusher can make up for 10 defensive players not doing what they're supposed to. But Arizona State's defense, for the most part, everybody's really been in position all year long. I don't think you're going to give up too many plays after the catch. Abney's always really in position. Shamari Simmons doesn't miss a lot of tackles. And so I think you just go out there, you play your game plan, hat on a hat, you line up your defensive backs against, you said they have 2,000-yard receivers?
2,000-yard receivers, yeah. And let's see who we got here. Jaden Higgins, who is ginormous. He's 6'4", 215 pounds, 80 catches, over 1,000 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns this season. Let me go ahead and take a look at the other one. But
T-Mac gives us a little bit of practice for that. They got to play against a literal giant at the wide receiver position.
Yeah. And
they did okay.
Yeah, Jalen Knoll, too. He's not as big, 5'11", 200 pounds, 67 catches, also 1,000 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns. What is it? Becht threw 20 touchdowns, 15 of his 20 went to Knoll and the other guy. So that's what Iowa State does. They throw it up to these two guys, and these guys come down with it. They've done a phenomenal job so far. I'm not too afraid of what they do on the ground. It's to me, like compared to some of these other Big 12 running backs in run games, it's probably middle of the pack.
You're about to see some snow indoors when it comes to the running backs on both these teams. I don't know how often how many championship games have featured 2 white feature running backs. I guess this one.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any other ones.
He's good.
Probably
he's definitely good as a pass catcher as well.
Yeah.
They're a good team. They are a good team. But I'd put them on the level of BYU, and Arizona State for the most part dominated BYU until it came time to, are we going to hold on to this lead or are we going to keep the pedal down? And against Arizona, they really, outside of the first drive of the third quarter, they did keep the pedal down. And I think that I think that everything really has been preparing Arizona State for this. This was the matchup that I wanted the absolute most. For the eyeballs, Colorado. For the hate mail, you'd get Colorado. Didn't want to see BYU again. Really don't want to see them ever again. But, for the most part, Iowa State, I think, is a team that Arizona State matches up really well with athletically. I have a ton of respect for Matt Campbell, but they've got their 10 wins. They did the thing that they'd never done before in program history. That since, they started in like 1901, they've never gotten to double-digit wins. Hopefully they're satisfied because we're coming for that win number 11. And I genuinely think that Arizona State is rightfully the favorite. The money kind of switched there, and Jordyn Tyson or no Jordyn Tyson, I think the way that this offense and defense run matches up really well with the Cyclones.
I agree. And look, we're going to hear from QB1 himself on the other side of this quick break. Look, Arizona State, they're to the moon, but if you happen to be an Arizona Wildcat fan in this chat, your program is on the floor. So maybe it's time to get some new flooring with our friends over at Empire Today, guys. With Empire Today, you get shop at home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. I know we've got some Empire Today flooring over in our GOAT studio over there. I think part of what makes it the greatest of all time is the fact that we went to Empire Today and they were able to hook us up with some really solid flooring. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring. So of course we're going to have some copycats out there, but Empire Today can't be beat on quality, service, and speed. They're not going to promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't even put in their own. Guys, also, they are trying to help you save money. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use that promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. Ralph, do you play pickleball at all?
I don't, but I know that there's a former PHNX employee holding it down for socials for them.
Yep.
So I have been following pickleball on social media and enjoying it.
Would you like to play pickleball?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you where we can go, and really where all of you guys can go. That is Chicken in Pickle. If you've never been, I'm a big fan of the vibes that they have over there. I know you were bringing up the vibes earlier. The vibes at Chicken and Pickle are off the spectrum, guys, whether that be because they've got games, whether that be life-size Battleship, they've got Connect 4, they've got ping pong, or if you're there for the pickleball, whether you're a beginner or a pro, they've got something for you, not to mention phenomenal food, phenomenal drinks as well. Head to chickenandpickle.com. That is chickenandpickle.com to see all the fun that you guys can have at their Glendale location. Do us a solid. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. If you're not doing it for me, if you're not doing it for the Deli Man, do it for the one, the only, legendary Ralph Amsden himself. It's not too often that we get Ralph in the studios. I was shocked that you were still in town. I had no idea that you were still in town, to be completely honest with you. When do you go back?
In a few days. Got the high school championships out here at Arizona State, so gonna be watching the Big 12 championship with Navi Bruzon's dad.
Oh wow!
Shout out to Ivan. And then heading over to cover some high school football played at Mountain America Stadium.
That'd be awesome.
It's gonna be a great day of football, and I won't be sad at all.
Jefferson, I appreciate you. I'm not going to read that comment, but I do appreciate you. Sharing in the chat, this would be a good Spaces topic, too. Spaces tomorrow, correct?
That is true, yes.
Okay. For those of you that don't know, Ralph, every Wednesday usually hosts a Sun Devil Spaces on Twitter, on X, whatever you want to call it. If you are an ASU fan or a Big 12 fan, highly, highly recommend you hop in there. 8 p.m. Arizona time?
8 p.m. Arizona time. Come chat with us. It's been going on for about 4 years now, and it's been a cool way to stay plugged in. I don't think without Spaces, I don't think I'm hanging out with you. So it's been a really cool way to stay plugged into the Sun Devil community. And we used to get in there and commiserate, and now we just get in there and pound our chests because we are the greatest university in the history of mankind.
We are. It is absolutely incredible to see where Arizona State is at this point in the season. And again, a big part of it is because of that quarterback, Sam Leavitt. We talked to Sam after practice today, just in terms of really where Arizona State is at. A 10-win season. This team, this program was a 3-9 team last year. Sam transferred in, obviously, from Michigan State, obviously, along with a bunch of other transfer portal kids. So Sam was asked, did he expect to see this? And really just how special this moment in this season has been for QB1.
Yeah, it's funny you actually say prove him right, because back in spring ball, when he brought me in and Jordyn decided to leave, I told him I'm going to prove him right. So I'm super, just to see all the work that he's put in to get to this point and how much passion he got for this program and, to really see him have success here and be a part of that, that's pretty special.
When Jaden Rashada left, Sam Leavitt told Kenny Dillingham that he was going to prove him right. Would you say he's done that up to this point?
Yeah. Yes. 10 wins when Las Vegas said 4.5. That's pretty good. And being 9-1 as a quarterback is pretty darn good, especially when in that one loss, he showed a lot of moxie.
Yeah.
And to be honest, dominated isn't the right word. I've used that word in the past, but they did beat up on Texas Tech for 55 minutes of that game. You can't fall into a 14-0 hole.
Yeah.
I think they kind of really learned that lesson. I'm sure they would not have loved to be in that position, but a couple of things happened in that game that haven't happened since. And so, Arizona State hasn't had to really play from behind in a lot of situations. And that's on Sam Leavitt. Cam Skattebo, obviously, but Sam Leavitt isn't doing a lot to hurt the team at this point.
Exactly.
Outside of the interception against Texas Tech, almost every decision that he has made, maybe in film they could say you could have done this or that, but no one is pulling their hair out. No one is, his leadership. He's got Jake Plummer out here, saying that this guy reminds me of me. So I've been super impressed and can't wait to see where he goes from here.
Yeah, well, hopefully it's just here. Hopefully it's just here for the college
I did not mean
career.
That as a location. I meant it as a metaphor.
Yeah, I think. Again, if you're able to keep Sam, and this is obviously looking past Saturday's game and whatever the rest of the season holds, like so much of what Arizona State is going to be expected to do next year and potentially the year after that is going to be on Sam Leavitt's right arm. Marcus Arroyo as offensive coordinator and Kenny Dillingham as the head coach. I think that trio has really meshed together better than anyone would have thought this early, right? Like we are, I guess, a whole regular season in. And this team is one of the best, if not the best team in the conference. At least they're playing for a Big 12 title, so they managed to get it done when they needed to most. It's been just ridiculous to see, but none of those guys out there, none of the players at practice were too interested in talking about, oh, this is a 10-win season. Oh, this is super special, because for them, there's still so much on the line, right? They don't want this to be the last game just to say, oh, we went 10-2 and played in a Big 12 championship. It's no, we won the Big 12 championship and we're going to the college football playoff. But of course, like we've been talking about all week long already and today, Iowa State stands in the way. So what does Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt think of those Iowa State Cyclones?
Yeah, they're really tough. They've been in the system for a while. They know the ins and outs, and this coach has ran this defense for a while, and everybody stems off him. It comes from him. So it's going to be a team that knows where they're going to be, and they're going to play downhill and be really experienced and physical and tough. So I'm excited to see what we can do.
It's something that me and Eric talked a lot about in the offseason when we were kind of going through each one of these teams, trying to figure out who in the Big 12 was going to be where. You had your teams like Houston where you were like, okay, maybe this program is a few years away. Or you look at Kansas and you're like, okay, Devin Neal, Jalen Daniels, like this is a team that could be really good. Iowa State was a team that I feel like everybody for the most part was pretty confident that they would be a top 5 team in this conference because of Rocco Becht, because people like Matt Campbell, and because they were returning a lot of talent defensively along the offensive line. And they've proved to be that, like you said, their first 10-win team that they've had as a program. And Kenny said it, Sam said it. This is a team that plays tough, that plays physical. They are going to hit you in the face the same way that Arizona State likes to hit you in the face. Do you feel like that is going to be something that maybe affects the Sun Devils early on in this game? Obviously, you have the time change and all of that. Sun Devils playing really, really early compared to their normal kickoff time. And now you've got to play a team like Iowa State that does like to be super physical, where there are some teams in the Big 12 where that's maybe not their cup of tea.
Yeah, I think Arizona State has handled the physicality really well. I don't think that they're a soft team. I think it would be a mistake to think of Arizona State in that manner. I mean, how many people has the Arizona State's starting running back knocked out of competition? And I think they really kind of take their cues from him. The more physical you are, the more fun you have. Nobody wants to watch the party die.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to, and these guys have gotten to celebrate together over and over and over again. They're having a really good time playing fast and playing physical football. The thing that I love about Iowa State is Matt Campbell. He's not going to get a ton of credit for this, and we know that Kenny Dillingham looks at Kyle Whittingham and he says, that's what I want. Want to be in a place for a long time. Want to be established. Want to develop talent. Want to play in really, really big games. But the truth of the matter is, Matt Campbell, he has had offers to leave over and over and over again, which is what Kenny Dillingham is about to have, by the way. And he is stuck around. And he found his quarterback. He bet on his quarterback. And he had a 4-year starter in Brock Purdy. P.S. Us winning the Big 12 championship is our player to be named later in the Brock Purdy trade, by the way. But he's promoted assistants up through the ranks. There's an Arizona high school guy that actually helps run his offense, I believe Taylor Mauser. They have a culture that they have built over there. And I look at Kenny Dillingham as more being in the wake of what Iowa State has built than I necessarily do Utah. Only Arizona State in today's day and age has the benefit of, this word is going to trigger some people, microwave results. Going from 3-9 to 10-2, instead of it kind of happening, well, you got your 6 wins, you got your 7 wins, you won the Fiesta Bowl in a COVID-shortened season. You overcame losing a couple of players to geofence gambling issues, and the Big 12 reformatted, and you finally got 10 wins for the first time in school history. They're building and they're doing it the right way, and I think Arizona State is too. I just think Arizona State has access to something that Iowa State never did. The Big 12 outside of Texas and Oklahoma, they're not 4-star recruits. And for people who aren't aware of how the rating system works, a 4-star recruit is someone who they believe will be drafted into the NFL. A 5-star recruit is someone they believe will be a first-round pick. They're not high school to college ratings. They're high school to NFL ratings.
Gotcha.
So there hasn't been a lot of NFL talent out of high school entering the Big 12. Arizona State has the benefit of getting some of that in the portal, making up for where maybe in their previous destination where they weren't doing everything they could. Also access to California, also access to Texas. So you have access to better talent. It's a better school. Arizona State's a better school. It's a better place to go to school. No offense to
Iowa State fans are going to like this.
Ames, I've heard really, really great things about Ames as a college town.
I have too.
But I'm not like huge on genetically modified corn or whatever. It's not my thing. So
Is that what they do? They genetically modify their corn?
Something like that, or they lose crop judging competitions to Kansas State, is what I heard. But it's a great school, it's a great culture. Matt Campbell built that up, and I look at what Kenny Dillingham has done, and I see a lot of similarities to Matt Campbell.
Do you think these two programs, and this is assuming that Kenny Dillingham is true to what he's been saying, and I think he is in terms of staying put at Arizona State. Let's assume both these guys, Kenny and Matt Campbell, are at these respective schools for another half decade. Do you see both of these programs and schools competing at this level consistently?
I've seen it, and like I said, I'm kind of like doubting Thomas. Like I've seen it in Iowa State. With Arizona State. We're like at once every 10 years, right? So 87, 96, 07, 2014, 2024. And because we've lived this, or I've been alive for 5 of them. You've probably been alive for 3 or 4 of them. You're a little bit young. I know you got the mustache, but you skew young.
The mustache makes me look a little older.
Yeah, but he was there for 87 and Van Rapper. But it has kind of been a once in every 10-year thing. So it really remains to be seen. I think Kenny Dillingham's the guy to do it. but I don't know. I got to see it. I
Yeah.
really got to see it. I've seen it from Iowa State. I would love for this to become a rivalry where they face off in December every single year. I think that'd be fantastic.
That would be so awesome. That'd be so awesome if Arizona State football was just consistently good. Or I guess not consistently good because this isn't a good season. This is a great season. If you had a team led by the same coach year over year that just gets it. And that's, I think, what I think this fan base has really started to understand was Kenny Dillingham just gets what college football is in 2024. And I can't think of another coach, in all honesty, that Arizona State fans would rather have than Kenny Dillingham right now.
Very, very true. And I will say this, and people had told me this, and I haven't necessarily experienced it to this degree, but people told me winning is fun. And now that I've done like a little bit of it,
fun.
I'm enjoying it. I would like to continue to do it for as long as humanly possible.
Well, we're going to continue this show and potentially continue winning on the other side of this final break. Guys, if you are tailgating, if you are maybe going to go hang out by the lake or sit out by the sun, do all of the things, you need a cooler. You need a cooler to keep your drinks cold. And Rugged Road, they have got you covered. They are dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the absolute best. I didn't know this, but Rugged Road, they use the term floatability. Their coolers are floatable, guys. Not only that, but they are going to keep the contents of that cooler cool for 7 days. 7 days. You could put drinks in a cooler right now, and in 7 days, they would still be cold. There's not a lot of coolers out there that are going to do that, but Rugged Road, they are one of them. Get ready, guys, for all of your adventures with Rugged Road coolers. Head to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and use that code PHNX for 10% off your order. Lightweight, durable, and always floating upright. Perfect on land or in water. So leave that old heavy cooler at home and get yourself a better cooler for the new season. Rugged Road, your ultimate outdoor companion. My ultimate outdoor companion is, of course, the Deli Man, who is producing this lovely show.
No, we're not.
Why not?
When have we ever?
We've been outdoors together.
Yeah, but like, it's not like a thing we do.
Why are you lying?
I'm not.
You're just lying to the people.
You're lying.
Well, shh. Let me continue my ad read. Guys, Viva the fun, Viva the fans, Viva New Year's Eve, and Viva a new era of college football. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl is going to host the first playoff quarterfinal in history. Could potentially see your Arizona State Sun Devils in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl at one point. Just saying, be a phenomenal environment. Join us for the first ever college football playoff quarterfinal at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Buy your tickets, reserved parking, and premium experiences at fiestabowl.org/tickets. And Viva Fiesta. Boom. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. I know we got JJB in here asking about DFA in basketball. JJB spawns anytime that we talk about basketball, and sometimes he just spawns and brings it up. So, are you going? Are you going to go to the Arizona State game tonight?
Yeah, man. You know the tickets are $2 right now.
Are they really $2?
They're $2.
That's cheap. So the reason why I'm not going tonight is because I bring a bad aura when they play San Diego.
You do.
Last year, I just happened to be in San Diego when they played San Diego. Yeah, and I went
in
to
their
that
high
game
school gym.
In their high school gym. The tickets were more expensive than they are to go to DFA tonight. So
I did tell Doug Tamaro because I was at the Duke massacre, and which didn't count. Isn't a thing.
No, didn't
we
count.
imagined it. It's not real. But if they do lose by 60 tonight, we'll know whose fault it is.
Yeah. Just don't put that out there. Don't put that 60-point loss juju out there, Ralph.
But okay.
Yeah, I won't. And they only lost by 54.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and
in a game that didn't count and didn't. Actually
it's
happen.
charity. We do it for charity. We lose for charity. We win.
What do you want us to not save sick kids?
Yeah, that's literally what Bobby Hurley was doing. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Get it together, guys.
If we won, they might not have been as much money for sick kids next time they do one of these.
They could have been sicker if they won.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. On that note, Cade has brought up this question, I believe, twice now. So, Ralph, he wants to know, do you think if the 2024 Sun Devils are beating the 2013 Sun Devils?
That's a great question. And DeMario Richard is a friend. But yeah.
You think 2024 ones are beating 2013?
Yeah, because Brian Ward doesn't only leave everybody out on an island.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And so we're counting this as full string. Jordyn Tyson's out there. No shade to some very talented corners who went on to have good NFL careers.
Yeah.
But the scheme, that defensive scheme was really dependent upon the pass rush. I believe very strongly in this offensive line. Coleman, Boley, Fatanu, like they're doing an incredible job. And I think that would really, really be the difference. If that 2013 pass rush can't get home, the band is playing every time Sam Leavitt throws the ball.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. Look, Ralph, what do you think? And normally on this show, we save our predictions and all that stuff for Friday, and me and Eric and Kyle will do our predictions on Friday. But I don't know if we'll have the luxury of getting you on a second time this week. So I am curious for you how you see this one shaking out, and maybe the one key player that you could point to, not named Cam Skattebo, for Arizona State to get this win on Saturday.
Yeah, so Arizona State has gotten away with kind of running Mateer on this like drag route
every game
into the flat where he catches and he gets a lot of yards after the catch. It has worked every time. I don't see a reason why it's not going to work again. And I'm looking for him to get in the end zone. And if you're a prop better or something like that,
Shimon Mateer's your anytime touchdown scorer.
Maybe that's one that you look at. And so he is somebody who I know that there's a couple of teams that probably could have used him this year, and I'm really, really glad that he's a Sun Devil.
Absolutely.
So he's somebody that I look at as making a big impact. I did see somebody in the chat post a 38-28. I don't love giving up 28.
But if you score 38.
Yeah, if you score 38, then that's not so bad. And you have to assume it's Arizona State football, so all 28 of that is going to happen in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So
none in the second half. Or none in the first half. It's literally 38-0 at the end of the first half. And then Iowa State, just Rocco does what Rocco does, pisses off Elmo and goes for 28.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly. So I saw that, and I kind of like it. I do.
38-28.
Yeah.
Arizona State.
Arizona State University. Founded in 1885.
I love it.
Run by a president who is an Iowa State alum. Threw javelin.
The fix is in.
He threw javelin there. I think he bleeds maroon and gold.
So you have Arizona State punching their ticket to the college football playoff, Ralph. Did you think that we would be having this conversation 6 months ago?
Like maybe if I was having like a weird dream.
I was gonna say maybe over like.
I'm in there though. I'm in the dream.
Yeah, with that mustache, probably.
Yeah, I guess 6 months ago you wouldn't expect me to have a mustache. So
yeah, so that'd be like the one detail of the dream, like, hey, Totri's here in Charlotte, North Carolina, with a mustache. He's pulled me over and he's in my window talking about. Yeah, and he said, what are you doing? What are your plans for the college football playoff when Arizona State is potentially hosting? Hosting or not hosting? It wouldn't be hosting.
If they got a bye, well, yeah,
it would be a Fiesta Bowl.
If they got a bye, then based off of where it looks like they're projected, yeah, I saw a projection today has them playing Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl.
Well, all those times I watched the Cardinals play in Sun Devil Stadium, I would really love to see
a good football team play.
Yeah. Yes. But also, I had heard lots of stories about how the Cardinals weren't necessarily respectful of the environment. So, win the game, trash the locker room, call it even.
I mean, winning the game first, you obviously got to win in Dallas before you get to Fiesta Bowl and college football playoff.
There is only winning.
There is
nothing else.
I mean, this is a team of destiny. I said I wasn't going to say it earlier. Well, I said I wasn't going to say it earlier.
Do you think they win?
You have to wait until Friday.
Wow.
Do you think they win?
Yeah. As I've said to you before, Kenny has not had to go deep in his bag at all.
What's deep in the Kenny bag, though?
We don't know. It's a mystery.
Swinging gate?
No, not that. No,
Swinging gate?
No. I remember when we talked to Kenny preseason, and he said somebody asked him about trickery and whatnot, and he goes, "I had to run the swinging gate. I didn't want to." So
no, we got to.
Yeah, well, no.
We got to run.
I don't know if you guys saw that George Reister thing where he came down to interview him, and Kenny said, "If I ever win 10 games, I'm never wearing a suit again."
Did he say that?
He did. Does Kenny Dillingham realize how many suits he's about to have to wear?
I don't know. I have no idea, but we're gonna have to.
Well, we'll definitely talk to him about that. That's a great find.
That's absolutely incredible. Do you have a score prediction?
For hoops?
Not for hoops.
I know. 31-14 ASU. I think it's pretty easy.
31-14. You think it's pretty easy?
I
You
think
got
it's pretty easy.
38, 28. Jeez. You guys think this is just going to be it?
I don't think it's going to be like.
You think it's going to be a corn walk?
It has nothing.
Those Monsanto boosters are going to be pissed.
It has nothing to do with Iowa State. It just has everything to do with my confidence in what this team is doing right now under Kenny Dillingham.
Who would have thought?
Oh, also shout out Rhonda.
Shout out Rhonda.
Tons of screen time at the Acrisure Championship. They showed her like 9 times.
Really?
Cheering. Yep.
Shout out Rhonda.
Shout out Rhonda.
Look, that is going to do it for today's episode.
No, hoops prediction.
Okay, I'll give you a hoops prediction.
For JJ.
93-78. Your Devils.
You're giving up 78 to San Diego?
It's yeah. We're still winning. It doesn't matter.
38-28. Being consistent. It's Jim Harbaugh's San Diego Toreros or whatever. Didn't he coach there? 38-28. Low scoring affair.
He did actually.
90-54.
90-50.
First blowout of the season. If you're gonna do it now. At home.
That's bloody. It's dirty. Get it together, Dilly man. Guys, we will see you on Wednesday, potentially with a special guest. You're going to have to follow us on social at PHNX_Sun Devils to find out. If you enjoyed the content, you give me a follow at Anthony_Totri as well. You can follow the legend himself, Ralph Amsden, of course, at Ralph Amsden on social. You can follow the Deli Man at Shane Deef.
Just taking advantage of great smoking hot deals as always. $36 for an entire year.
36 doll hairs, guys. Go out there.
To be a diehard. Get a free t-shirt. Tons of other stuff.
I like my Die Hard t-shirt a lot.
Which one did you have?
I had the Big D.
Yeah. Love the Big D.
Of course you do.
The horny one. These are not euphemisms. It is literally what is on the shirt.
Yeah. I mean, you'll have to go to the locker and find it out. Also, Eric Ruby, Captain Redbeard, will be back at attendance for the ASU Hoops post-game show tonight right here on this YouTube channel. So definitely stick around for that. Guys, I will see you tomorrow. So, as always, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.